Howdy everyone and welcome back. Sorry it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. We've had a lot going on down here between Hurricane Harvey making it impossible to video. I've started back to my master's program here at A&M where I'm trying to get back into the swing of things there, and I've had a few minor health issues, nothing to worry about or anything like that, but it's going to make it to where I might be a little bit late to uploading videos from time to time for a little while, so just bear with me through that. But on a positive note, you might have noticed that the video quality has gone up a whole lot since the last videos. And that's because I got a new camera. The channel's taken off and I enjoy doing these so much that I decided I was going to upgrade my equipment and just give you a better video quality from here on out. But in this video, what I want to do is I want to give you an update on the sugarcane. It has grown like crazy since y'all saw the last update. I'll leave a link to that up here. But I just want to show y'all that, and namely in this video I want to show y'all how y'all can propagate sugarcane through cuttings if you have access to sugarcane and just want to start your own plants. So let's go check that out. So here it is, you guys. I mean, if you saw the update video, this is completely different than what it looked like when I started earlier this spring. I mean, look at this, you guys. It has got absolutely massive. It grows like a grass because it is a grass. It's one of the largest grasses out there, and that also means it's really easy to take cuttings from. So what we're gonna do is, the reason why we're taking cuttings now is because we want to start a bunch of new sugarcane plants in the greenhouse to where we can get them started, get pretty good sized sugarcane plants throughout the winter, and that way we can just transplant them in spring and already have a major head start. Because sugarcane is a tropical plant, it's not very cold hardy, so in case this dies back to the ground or just dies altogether, we're going to have more sugarcane plants to get started, and it just kind of gives us an insurance and it gives us a head start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you along and show you how to take cuttings from this and start a bunch of new plants. So let's go get to it. Alright, so first step, you got to source some sugarcane, because how you got to grow any of this if you don't have any sugarcane to start with? There's a few ways you can do this. If you live in a larger area that has large markets, like ethnic markets, like you'll see sometimes in the Asian markets or Latin American markets, they'll have whole stalks of sugarcane for sale. Sometimes you see those vendors that are doing the fresh sugarcane juice, running it through a press. You might be able to buy some from them, or you might see some in your market if you live in an area that has those kinds of places. But if you're like us, which are like me, we don't have anything like that around here. So we tried a different method. We ordered a live sugarcane plant from a nursery, and we went and we were going to start it in the greenhouse and let it become like a mother plant in a large pot in the greenhouse. But we decided to do something different. If you saw the first sugarcane video, or I guess it was the update video, not sure, but go watch them both. So what we did instead is we decided to go plant it outside to where it has more room to expand and more room to get bigger, where we can grow more sugarcane a little bit faster. And I think we made the right decision, because as you can see, wow, look at all that sugarcane. So now all we got to do to start our own cuttings and start our own sugarcane plants is come along here and cut some of the sugarcane stalk. So I'm using a saw to do this. I would normally use like tree pruners because it'd just be faster and easier, but I can't find any of those, and like a good redneck, you use what you got. So I'm going to use this saw to cut this sugarcane, and I'll show you what to look for after I get this cut. So I decided to bring y'all a little bit closer. What I'm looking at here is I'm trying to find the stalks that have the most sugar, or the most nodes on it, and that's just because the more nodes you get, the more sugarcane plants you can start. So I'm looking at this outside piece here because it has a lot of nodes, and I'll show you a little bit more what I'm looking at once I get it cut. So let me get sawing at this. Like I said, I wouldn't have normally used a saw for this, but you gotta use what you got. Am I right? Dig down here and see if I can get, you want to get as far down on the plant as you can get, because like I said, that'll be more sugarcane plants we can start. This may be harder than I thought. Here we go. This is being difficult. Whew. This is not easy, you guys. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so all I did here was I stripped all the leaves off of the cane to expose the buds. And here in a second, I'll try to show y'all a little bit closer what I'm looking at on this stalk and how we're gonna cut this up and get it planted. So let me go to a table or something, and that way we can see a little bit better than we can out here. Okay, so I just wanted to give y'all a close-up of what I'm looking at on this sugarcane stalk. So what we have here, we're gonna go through a little bit of definition because it's important. This section right here is called the internode. And this thing right here, if you can guess, that's the bud. And this is what we're looking for when we want to start our sugarcane from cuttings. And also another important thing to look at, right here along this ring, along with the buds, like on the other side you'll see a bud on each side. They alternate. Say there's one there, one there. But along this ring, this is where the roots are going to come from. So it's going to root out from there as well. So when we cut these, we want to give, I would say, at least 2 nodes per section, just in case one of them dies, you'll have another. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut in the middle of an internode. You don't want to cut here because you're going to kill your bud. You want to cut here when you make your cuttings. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here and section this up. And once I get them into sections, we'll talk about the next step, about potting them up and ways to get them to start sprouting. So just a side note, if you're getting sugarcane from the store, what you're going to want to look for is to make sure the buds are still alive. I've had times to where I go try to get sugarcane in the store and they've either frozen it or done something where these buds are not alive anymore, and that will not grow you any sugarcane. So if you buy it from the store, just be sure to check the buds and see if they're still alive. If they are, you're good to go. This would be so much easier if I had just pruners. Don't do what I do as far as cutting this, get some tree pruners. It'll be much easier than sawing this. But we gotta use what we gotta use. So we got everything cut. We got 5 regular stalks of sugarcane, and then we got this trial one. See what happens when we kerplunk this down in some water and see if it'll root. These other ones we're going to try different ways though. So let's get on to the next step. Okay, we're going to get our sugarcane cuttings started in 2 different ways. We're going to do one way is by placing the cuttings in a shallow pan of water. And I place them sideways so the buds are still getting good air. And this water is just going to cause the roots to emerge and the buds to start growing. So that's one way of doing it, and we're going to try another way, and I'll do that next. But we're going to see which one of these grows our cuttings the fastest. So let's go on to the next method. So the other way we're going to get these cuttings started is just by direct planting them into some potting soil. In commercial plantings, from what I understand, they just take chunks of sugarcane, make trenches in the field, lay the sugarcane stalks down in there, bury them up, and let them do their thing. So we're going to kind of do that on a more controlled setting. So come take a closer look and I'll show you how I'm going to get these planted. So the way you're going to want to direct plant your sugarcane cuttings are to take your sections and just lay them on their side with the buds sideways, because that's going to allow the buds to come up easier. If you plant them like that with one of the buds sticking up, one of the buds is going straight down, and then that's going to be hard for it to grow. So by placing it sideways instead of straight up and down, you're gonna get all this ringed area. That's all gonna be your root system. So we wanna get as much roots as we can on our plants always. And then both of the buds will come up on their own. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna dig down here and just bury it up. I'm gonna put a little bit more potting soil on that in just a minute. It's not buried very deep right now. I would say put it down about 3 inches or so, and that's all you got to do with that. We're just going to water it down real good now and wait and see what happens. Okay, so now that we've got our sugarcane cuttings potted up, we just got to give them a good water. And you just want to give them a good water in the initial beginning, but as they go along, you just want to keep them moist, not just super soaked. You don't want them to mold or to rot or anything like that. So keeping the soil moist is important, but you don't have to just water it and keep it completely drenched and saturated. But the soil is a little dry, so I'm watering it a little bit more. So all I'm going to do with those is, after I get done watering, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And of course, I'm going to bring y'all along as we go. So there you go, guys. That's all it takes to get your very own sugarcane plant started from cuttings. It's easy, it's fun to do, and talk about a sweet deal. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions for me or any suggestions, be sure to leave those down in the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you can be there for when all the new videos come out. And until next time, I hope you'll join me right here on The More You Grow.